Hi guys, welcome to Sunday evening webinar, and in tonight's session we're going to be looking about how to find property deals all over the UK. And what makes this one different is that, first of all, I'm going to be joined by a sourcer that I've been working with recently over the last couple of months called Webb. And I'm also going to be sharing with you other live case studies of deals that have been done within the first week of January 2022. Now, if you wouldn't mind, just in the comment section, just say a quick hello. Let me know that you can hear me nice and loudly and clearly. And more importantly, just whilst you're there, type in a little bit about who you are, why you're here this evening, and what is your experience in property. So are you completely new? Have you already got properties? Have you got some buy-to-lets? You've got some HMOs? How are those performing? And let's get moving forward. So hi, Andy. That's one of the first ones that's come through. Just a bit of housekeeping. I'll try and answer as many questions as we can along the way. If I don't get a chance to answer them at that point, stay on to the end of the webinar. We're going to do a massive Q&A session answering as many questions as we can. And we're going to try and be online for approximately between 60 to 90 minutes. So first of all, got to say thank you. Thank you for trusting me with your time this afternoon, this evening. Appreciate there's lots of things that you could be doing, but you decided to spend it with me this evening, and I'm going to try and give you as much value as possible. So the things that we're going to be looking at during this session is how to get started in property with no money and no experience, big claim. How to make cash flow from simply controlling properties, again, another big claim. And how to find vendors, direct and negotiate the best deals. But more importantly, one of the points that I did add in here, I'm also going to introduce you to Craig, who has done exactly what I've asked him to do, followed it to a T, and he's going to be talking about the results and how he's found the whole process throughout the journey. So why listen to me? Who is Arsh and what's he all about? I appreciate there's lots of people out there. Appreciate lots of people making lots of noise about here's the deal that I'm doing, here's some of the stuff that I've done, but more importantly, a bit of experience behind what I've done. Been involved in property 21 years, now got the best part of 1,100 tenants in my portfolio and growing. So first and foremost, I'm a property investor, and I'm very clear about that. I've been involved in property a long time. I've made a lot of mistakes along the way. I've learned a lot. I've made a lot of money. I've also lost some money, and I'll talk to you about that in a second. I'm also the founder, so I would call myself an industry leader or innovative within the industry, because I'm the founder of the Property Investor app, which is the UK's first property investment marketplace mobile app. So if you haven't already got the app, go and download it either on your smartphone, search for Property Investor, or go to propertyinvestorapp.co.uk. As I said, I'm a property investor, and I'm the UK's leading deal trader or sourcing agent, sourcing over 500 properties a year. And I also feature and I'm in magazines such as the HMO magazine, the YPN magazine, and I'm also due to start writing in another magazine called Blue Bricks. So I'm also an author. I'm a best-selling author of a book called Boom, Bust and Back Again. Now, this is not a property book. When I say it's not a property book, it's a mix between a property book and also a mini autobiography. The reason why I say that is because, as the title suggests, property has not always been an easy journey. I've seen some really good times. I've seen some really bad times, and I'm back to tell the tale. So definitely worth a read. Go and check it out on Amazon. And as well as that, I'm a property trainer. I help hundreds of people reach financial freedom. And I'm assuming that's the reason why you're here today. You want to find out what it is I do, and more importantly, how you can replicate what I do. And I don't blame you, if I'm honest. Now, during lockdown version 1, I launched a podcast called The Property Rebel. Now, a podcast was something that I've been meaning to do for many years, never really got around to it. Lockdown provided me with the opportunity and the time to actually launch a podcast, and it's called The Property Rebel Podcast. Find it on Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and you'll be able to listen. Every Tuesday, I release a new podcast at 6 a.m. So, question. What are your goals for 2022? When I say what are your goals, are you looking to build cash flow into your portfolio? Are you looking to build more assets into your portfolio? Are you looking to secure your family's future? Are you looking to escape the rat race? Are you going to make property pay for luxuries such as holidays? Are you going to help your kids get onto the property ladder? Are you trying to create a pension plan? And again, there's lots of all these. There's nothing wrong with any of these. So, think about it. So create your vision board, create your mood board. What are you aiming to do this year? More importantly, how are you going to get there? Because it's all very well talking about what we're going to do, but if we don't know how to get there, that goal is not really going to be that achievable. So when I just define success, the thing for me really is key is living life on my terms. When I say having the flexibility to work from where I want, when I want, and with who I want. And for me, I think I've now got to that point of working in a environment where I can work from anywhere and anywhere in the world, and I'm still able to do that, and I can start and stop when I want, and I can decide to work with who I want. And it's a brilliant place to be, if I'm being completely honest. Now, part of my goals for 2022, you can see there enough in bold, pretty much as bold as it can be. I want to trade as many properties as possible. So, we've already done over 500 properties within a year. I want to see if we can now double that and see if we can get to 1,000 properties in a year now and become the largest well-known deal trader in the UK. More importantly, to create the largest network of property sources in the UK and become the equivalent of Rightmove, but for property investment opportunities. I've put it out into the universe. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to achieve. And I'm going to be able to do that with your help. And I'm hoping that this session really helps you to get to help me as well get to that place. So the session tonight we're going to be talking about is deal sourcing, deal trading, deal packaging, regardless what you want to call it. They all are geared towards the same goal. So we're literally in a point where we're finding a deal, we're packaging it, and then we're trying to sell it onto an investor. So that is the fundamental goal of what deal sourcing is all about. Now, before we do that, I want to tell you the reason why I really love deal trading. Because with deal trading, I'm not sure about you guys, but being a landlord, being a property investor and owning assets, it can run its toll on you. When I say that, is that there'll be times where tenants are calling you and asking you for maintenance issues, or you get voids and you get bad debt and you get damage. And it's being a landlord, it sounds lovely and it sounds glamorous, and everyone thinks that you sat on a beach drinking cocktails. The reality is that you probably got your head in someone's bathroom, plunging away at someone's toilet, and these are the things that they don't see. So I decided to build a property portfolio that generates some income. As well as that, I wanted to build another business, which was my deal sourcing, deal trading business. And I found that the deal trading business was far more lucrative, not only from a monetary point of view, but also from a lifestyle point of view. Because first of all, I don't deal with tenants, which means that I don't have to deal with maintenance calls, as well as because I'm not actually buying the property and I'm only facilitating the sale of the property. It means that I don't need to borrow any money from any banks, which means that I'm 100% hands-free investing. When I say 100% hands-free investing, okay, so Bob has come in with a question. He goes, what do you mean by trade? Do you buy or buy and sell? So none of those, Bob, believe it or not. When I talk about deal trading, so in essence, deal sourcing. So you literally, and the best way of me describing this is almost like a glorified estate agents. Now, estate agents, they don't own the property. All they simply do is they put a property up for sale and then they find a buyer for it. And exactly, deal sourcing, exactly that. But the beautiful thing is that you're not confined to the parameters which an estate agent would be. It's very rare that you would find an estate agent in London marketing a property in Birmingham. whereas you, as a deal sourcer, you don't have that constraint, and you can work all over the country, if not all over the world. So I hope that answers your question, Bob. Now, and as I put there, you're not tying up any money, and you can deal with any property, any town, any city, or even any country. And the reason why I put country in there is because, you know, if you look at all the properties that are being offered to you in your email inbox, I bet you're being offered properties in Portugal. I bet you're being offered properties in Portugal, Dubai, France, and everywhere in between. So there's no reason for you just to confine yourself to one location. Does that kind of make sense? And I've started doing things with properties in different countries because I find, why am I confining myself to one location? Because if I can, why not work in multiple locations? Okay, so let's keep moving on. It can be started and stopped where you require, and it can be done anywhere around the world. All you need is a mobile phone and a laptop. Now, and that's my perfect style of business. Now, just before Christmas, without boasting, I'm not a boasty kind of person, but I'd rather be in a position, well, just before Christmas, I was in Dubai, and I was there for holiday with my family, and I was still working from there. So I was working, I was still dual sourcing, and I was still doing deals sat in Dubai on the opposite side of the world, and nothing had changed other than the time difference of 4 hours. I felt no different than if I was in the UK. So this can be done anywhere around the world. And I'm also giving you an example of a person that I work with who's actually based in Saudi Arabia and still sources around 3 to 4 deals a month. And sourcing does not have to stop at property. Once you've acquired the skill, it can actually be used to source almost anything. Now, the next thing I'm going to say to you is that the reason why I really love deal trading is because I don't deal with solicitors. Well, when I say I don't deal with solicitors, I'm not having to engage solicitors for my own purpose. I'm not having to deal with surveyors, no refurbishment works, no builders and contractors. Therefore, there's no risk. You don't own anything, so there's nothing that can go wrong. Now, you think about this from an estate agent's point of view. When an estate agent comes round to your house, just imagine that you're selling the house. When an estate agent comes round to the house, do they guarantee that they're going to sell your property? Can they guarantee that they're going to sell your property? No, they can't, because all they can do is put it out to their network, or whether they put it on Rightmove, and as a result, they will try and find you a buyer. How many properties have not sold? And likewise, as a deal sourcer, you can do exactly the same. You can put the opportunity out to your investors, but there's no guarantee that it's going to sell. So in that respect, there's no reason why you can't work in the same way. A question that's coming that made me smile, shall I say. So Mohammed said, so you even worked on holiday. So Mohammed, just to let you know, I was out in Dubai pretty much most of December and the early part of January. And for me, I like going on holiday. Yeah, I think I can wind down for a short while, but I still like to keep my eye and do little bits. You know, being away for the best part of 4 weeks, for me not to do anything for 4 weeks, I'd find that really hard. So if I was away for a week or so, then yeah, I'd agree. I'd completely switch off. But for 4 weeks, I'd find that really tough. So I'm going to ask you a question. What do you consider as a deal? So is it buying something below market value? Is it buying a property in need of renovation? Is it something that's already income producing? Is it something producing a good ROI? Now, for those that don't know, ROI stands for return on investment. Is it something with a good potential of capital growth? Something that's sustainable, something that produces a cash flow? Is it something that has capital appreciation, the opportunity to add value by doing a refurbishment or even a planning gain? Is it an opportunity where you can take control with little capital, or the opportunity to use someone else's asset in exchange of time? Now, if I was to say to you, which of these is a deal? Is it just one of them? Is it some of them? Is it all of them? feel free to comment in the box below. Because, you know, believe it or not, there's no right or wrong here, by the way. Some of you may only think that a deal is only if you're buying something below market value. Some of you may only think that a deal is something where you can add value in the form of a renovation or refurbishment, or whether you try and get planning permission on it. Some of you may turn around, okay, so some people are saying income producing, some of them are saying all of them, some of them saying finding a property that is below market value is based on a good location. I have a criteria I use for when looking for a property. Now, Anita, that's really interesting that you say when you're looking for a property. Now, when you're working on behalf of deals, when you're working on behalf of investors, I think you have to start to slightly adapt your mindset slightly, so that it's not a case of I wouldn't buy it, so why would someone else? Because we've all got different parameters when it comes to purchasing property. Now, and the reason why I put this list up here is because someone, let's say Mr. Singh let's say in London, he only specifically wants properties that are 25% below market value. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Then we may have Mr. Smith, who's based in Oxford. He generally is not necessarily after something that's below market value, but it's something that's already generating an income that can provide him with some cash flow. Then we've got another person, let's just say, I don't know, I'm running out of names here. Mr. X. Mr. X will be down somewhere else, and they want something where they can add value, where they can get planning permission, whether they can turn it from a 2-bed to a 3-bed. And everyone's got their own agenda. Some may want to create small pockets of cash by uplifting the value. Some may want cash flow so that they can leave their job, and everyone's got their own agenda. So the answer to the question that I really raised, and Andy's asked a question, isn't BMV in this market a needle in a haystack, surely better in a down market? Believe it or not, Andy, BMV deals are everywhere. You've just got to know where to look for them. So in that respect, I'm going to be talking to you about and I'll mention this a few times in this presentation this evening, about the need to remove yourself from being a one-trick pony, because you've got to look at every property and be able to apply a strategy which works best for not only the owner, but also the purchaser. So when you go to a deal, and I'm just going to give you an example, if my strategy was to only source below market value deals, yes, I would get some deals, but think of all the other deals that I would miss out on. And let me give you an example. Just imagine that there's a house. The market value of the house is £100,000. And let's keep numbers quite simple. Now, if my strategy is to purchase properties below market value, and let's say 25% below market value, that means that my maximum offer would be within the region between £70,000 to £75,000. Now, if the owner has got a mortgage in excess of £75,000, that means that me as a deal sourcer now would generally walk away from that deal. However, as a deal sourcer, the one thing I say is that you should always be able to look at a property and apply a strategy to it, so that every time you look at a property, you should be able to monetize that lead. So in the scenario that I said, where you want to try and buy it for 75,000, but the owner's got a mortgage on it, let's say for 85 or 90,000 pounds, you should be able to offer them a different solution to meet their requirements. And as a result, understand where the opportunity lies. More importantly, how does that look from a cash flow opportunity? How does that look from a strategy point of view? Who's going to benefit? Is the owner going to benefit? Is the purchaser going to benefit? And come up and make sure that the deal works. And that is when you've really, I would say that the most strategic of deal sources make the most fees. And I can talk to you about deal after deal after deal as to where someone's looked at it and they thought that there was no deal there, and as a result, I've come along and restructured it in a slightly different way. I'll tell you what, I'll give you an example. This is not even on the slides, by the way. So a few years back, and this is quite well documented in my journey, a few years back, I saw a property go up for auction, and I actually saw the people erecting the auction board outside a funeral director's. And this was in a property in Wolverhampton. For those that have read my book, may have read about this property as well. So I saw it going up for auction, and straight away the guide price was £48,000 to £52,000. Now, the property was derelict. It needed a lot of work, but it was in a great location in Wolverhampton. And straight away, I called the auction company and I offered them £52,000. They said, sorry, no, we've had lots of interest in it. We need if you want to buy this out of auction, the price needs to be well in excess of that. So I said to them, okay, how about 65,000? And we went up and they said, no, sorry. Then I went up to 80,000. And the guy said to me on the day, and this was the same, literally 10 minutes apart between the phone calls. He came back to me and said, Arsh, he goes, if you want to buy this property today, I've just spoke to the owner and it's got to start with an offer of 1. Now, I've said to him, okay, starts with a 1. So I said to him, okay, straight. I said, if I offer you £100,000 today, can we exchange on that property? Now, bear in mind, now I'm not saying this is a deal sourcer. This was me as a property investor and a property developer. I wanted this property for my own portfolio. And the owner says the owner will accept an offer of £100,000 if you make that offer now and you come into our office with a bank transfer for 10% of the transaction, which is £10,000. And I said, okay, I'm going to make an offer of £100,000 now. Now, straight away, first of all, my business partner nearly fell off his chair because I hadn't even viewed this property, but I could see that there was very clear angles in what we could do with this property. Now, the reason why I'm telling you this story is because two people can look at the same property and we will come out with both different conclusions. Now, I exchanged on the property and I purchased the property for £100,000. Now, when I completed on it, I got a call from an agent who was managing the property. When I say managing the property was derelict. And he said, Arsh, he goes, I can't believe you just paid £100,000 for it. I go, why? He goes, I got offered that property at £40,000 by the owner before they put it into auction, and I refused. I said, he goes, that he offered them like £20,000. And I said, why did you reject a £40,000 offer? He goes, the owner has been paying me £25 a month to protect the padlock on the gate, and he's been paying him that for the last few years. I said, okay, so why did you not buy the property for £40,000? He goes, you can't do anything with that property. And ultimately, yeah, instantly I thought, oh no, have I just bought a bad egg? But I wasn't deterred. I spoke to the planning department, and within a round of 2 planning permissions, so there's lots of complications that we have to overcome. It was in a conservation area. They were about to make the building listed because of the heritage of the building. But anyway, just to goes to show that 2 people can look at the property and come out with 2 completely different outcomes. So I got planning permission to knock down the existing building where he thought you couldn't knock it down. I got planning permission for commercial properties on the ground floor, so 2 commercial properties on the ground floor, 8 one-bedroom flats above the commercial buildings, plus 6 2-bedroom townhouses to the rear of the offices. So I got 14 units plus commercial on that one site that he had rejected for £40,000. And he thought I was stupid for offering £100,000. So the point that I'm making here is 2 people can look at it and we will come out with complete different conclusions. One will think it is a deal, the other will not. And he was looking at it very much from a point of view, I can't see any angle in it. I was looking at it from a point of view, I can see lots of angles with it. And as a result, I made a lot of money off that deal. After I got planning permission, I then went off and sold that property without putting a spade in the ground for £330,000, which meant that I walked away with £230,000 for, in essence, some paperwork, planning permission, and being strategic with my approach. So I'm glad that you like that deal. So the best thing about deal trading, as I put on the screen right now, I get to see all the best deals first, and you as a deal sourcer will get to see all the best opportunities, and then that gives you the opportunity to make that decision. Is this something I want to buy for myself? Yes or no? Do I have the funds? Do I have the means to buy it for myself? Yes or no? If it's not for you, do not pass it up. Pass it on to another property investor and make a fee for that transaction. Make a fee for that introduction. Does that make sense? Okay, so Adam says, did I have to pay anything other than the £10,000 for that deal? Yes, Adam, I actually bought that deal. So I paid the £100,000, then I paid planning fees, then I paid architect's fees. I was in that deal for approximately 18 months because we had to go through 2 roles of planning. But don't get too bogged down in the detail there. What I was trying to make, the point I was trying to make is that people can look at a deal and they can come out with different conclusions. So I get to see all the best deals first. So here's one that I put. Did everyone see the email that I put out recently, where Nottingham block of apartments? So I got approached by an owner, literally start of this week, Monday this week, and he goes, Arsh, he goes, I've got a block of apartments. I've just finished them. I'm in the process. I'm thinking about selling them. Would you be interested in listing them on your app? So I said, absolutely. Let me have a look at it. My answer is always yes when someone asks me a question like that. I said, let me have a look at it. Let's have a look at what we need to do. And I said to him, well, why are you selling it? He goes, I don't really want to deal with tenants. I don't really want the hassle of dealing with tenants. And I asked him the question. I said, if tenants wasn't an issue, would you keep the block? He goes, yes, because it's in a great location. And then I went on to my next question. I said, okay, if tenants is your issue, how about if I rent the block off you? He goes, what are you going to do with it? I said, I'm going to potentially run them as a serviced accommodation unit. And so we went through the whole process, what service accommodation is, who the pros and cons, who looks after what. And within 30 minutes, he goes, Arsh, he goes, providing that you pay me the rent that I want, I'm not going to get any hassle, I'm not going to get any headache. He goes, I trust you, etc. And he literally gave me the keys to that block within 30 minutes of that conversation. We managed to negotiate a 3-year lease. Off the back of that, he said that he didn't want me to pay him a deposit because he trusts me. Off the back of that, we've also got a mini 3-month rent-free period because he's just got a few bits to. He said that he's happy to give me that to get the property up and running, and he will continue to ensure and maintain the structure, and I will maintain the internal of the building. I've made a mistake. I don't make 103,000 from this property. That's for another property. There's my minor disclaimer. So based on my calculations, so it's a block of 7 apartments. So there's 4 2-beds, 2 1-beds in the studio. Based on my calculations, I've worked on a lower than average of £130 a night. Other competitors are fetching around £180 a night. My break even would be approximately 50% occupancy, taking into consideration 20% management costs, high fees that I've attached in there, plus contingency fees, and it still generates £2,000 a month. Now, if we increase the rates, the nightly rate, the break even will reduce down to 40%, and the cash flow increasing significantly closer to £4,000 a month. Now, my question is, if someone came to you and said, I'll tell you what, Bob, here's a block of 7 apartments, do you fancy it? Would you say yes or no? Now, this is not the kind of deal that you're going to find on the likes of Rightmove, Zoopla, On the Market, and all the other platforms. So this is why I said that you need to be in it, almost like as Del Winton says, you need to be in it to win it. And the reason why I say that is because I would not have seen or even become aware of this opportunity if it wasn't for my skills or my knowledge of deal sourcing and deal trading. So again, based on that, I've now got and this is the first week of January 2022, a block of 7 apartments which we're going to have live listed on Airbnb, Booking.com, Expedia, you name it, by the end of next week as we go in to start furnishing them, and have a look at the standard of his development. So these are the pictures taken from this property from when I visited it, I think on Tuesday this week. We spoke about it Monday. He gave me the keys Monday. Myself and my wife is the person that will be managing and running in all these along with our new guest relations team. And these are all literally next door to Nottingham Castle and right smack bang in the centre of Nottingham city centre. And so Bob said, I'd like to say yes, absolutely. Why wouldn't you take these on? And so when you look and you calculate the risk, there's no reason why anyone would say no to these. So straight away, we've taken 2022. Well, we've got off to a great start. So we've got a block here of 7 apartments that we've taken on. We're also building our team. More important, we're taking on more properties. So another reason why I love deal trading, in December 2021, sorry, it wasn't December, I think it was in November 2021, I was approached by another vendor, a property in Wolverhampton, and I agreed to deal with the vendor. She wanted to sell the property below market value. Now, it's not a property generally that I would buy to keep within my portfolio, because this is more geared towards a house for someone that wanted to live there. So it wasn't really in a great investment location. Anyway, I agreed to deal with the owner where they get circa £300,000, which is what I would say is close to the market value of the property right now. I took control of the property, and within the space of 6 weeks, I got planning permission to extend the property. And with the planning permission granted, it was now valued at £435,000. Now, planning permission cost me approximately £500. So the planning permission application cost £500. I had to pay about £1,000 in architect's fees. Off the back of that, I had a deal agreed at £450,000. So whilst I was going through planning permission, I started speaking to some of our investors and said, guys, okay, I've got this deal. We're going through planning, but as soon as I've got planning permission granted, are you interested in buying it? And some of them came back and said yes. So providing planning was granted, I already had my buyer as the exit sorted. Now, off the back of that, when the planning permission was granted, the transaction happened, and we walked away from this deal with £103,000. Now, this is all because of me putting myself in the position as a deal sourcer. Now, not all deals are going to happen like this. This is a needle in a haystack, but it's definitely worth mentioning because I get one of these every 2-3 years. But how many deals do you need like that to replace your income? So a lot of you would say 1. So Jay says, how long was your initial option agreed with the owner? Was it agreed subject that you achieved planning? Yes, it was. So again, my risk in this deal specifically was the best part of £500, which was the planning permission. And then off the back of that, we then sold it. And then any fees that I paid was all in the contract to be refunded back to me. So Nicola, when it says that we take control, how does it actually work? I'll comment on that shortly because, if you stay until the end, we'll go straight through that. So again, look at the 2 deals that I've just mentioned, one just before Christmas, one straight after Christmas. And these are opportunities where it's not cost me anything to get involved. When I say to market to find these deals, because you find them in a way that they're not on Rightmove and Zoopla or on the market, but they're massive cash flow deals. Now, the next person that I'm going to introduce is a young gentleman. His name's Craig Webb. Now, Craig Webb came to me at the I'd say in October 2021. And the reason why I'm going to introduce Craig, because sometimes I can make things look so easy because it's almost like second nature to me now. So Craig approached me and he goes, I've been watching Arsh for some time on YouTube and Facebook. I gave him a call to arrange a 1-hour consultation to see if he could point me in the right direction as to where I've been going wrong on my journey. We had a good chat and he told me where I had done well and where I could do better. Now, after the chat, I realised that I've made lots of money. I could have made lots of money on deals, but that I'd found, but didn't want, as they didn't meet my requirements. He showed me how to look at it from a different angle and how we can make money from them. After that, I gave him another call and told him I wanted more training to work with him. And as a result of that, we got straight to work. So we arranged a full day's training in his office, and I can honestly say I wish I'd done it years ago. I learned more in that one day than I've learned anywhere else about property deals. So I'm going to get Craig on in a second, but one of the things that I did say to Craig is that anyone that works with me, I did warn him before I trained with him that I was going to kick his backside and push him exactly out of his comfort zone, which I did. Within that day, we found a deal and put it out to his investors, and since then, Craig has gone on to source 20 deals in 2 months. So without further ado, I'm going to open the floor out to Craig. And I want Craig literally to introduce himself. Who is Craig? Where is Craig based? More importantly, you know, what was the almost like the light bulb moment in Craig's training that turned him from not finding any deals into 20 in 2 months? So Craig, hi, how are you?
Hi, Arsh, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Craig, thank you for coming on. I appreciate that it's Sunday evening, but more importantly, I think that the guys that are on this session are in for a real treat listening to you this evening because, as I said, I think sometimes I make it look too easy, but if they can learn or hear from someone that has literally just started and had the kind of results that you've had, it will, you know, definitely resonate with some people. So tell us about who you are.
Yeah, well, I'm based in Walsall in the West Midlands. I've done a little bit of property training previously to working with you. That was a bit unsuccessful. But I've been watching you for a long time on YouTube, and I thought I'm going to reach out, have a chat, let you know what I've done so far, and just see where it goes from there. That led to we had a 1 hour consultation, and straight away within that 1 hour, it was face to face actually because I'm not too far from you. I came to your office and we spoke for an hour. I realised that I'd potentially lost out on thousands of pounds with deals that I'd negotiated, but they didn't quite fit my criteria. So I just binned them off really. And that's where you said, well, Craig, we could have sold that deal. We could have sold that deal. We could have done this. We could have done that. And at that point, I realised, oh my gosh, I could have made loads of money here. And I've just thrown it all away. And then I went home, and that day I thought I need to spend more time with Arsh. I need to get onto his way of thinking and um, just go for it really. And we had another chat on the phone, and then we arranged a day at your office, which and then we started looking at different angles to look at deals, different types of deals, and we kind of set up a strategy that was good for me that I like doing. You got me on the phone straight away, which I was a bit uncomfortable with, but you made me do it, and I'm thankful for that because I'm doing it every single day now. And yeah, since then I've learned how to spot deals. I can literally be scrolling through different apps, looking at properties, and think that seems to add up. That seems to add up, and I'll put it in the calculator that you gave me. And yeah, it's I've found well. It says 20 deals, but I've actually found more than that now because I've got another 4 or 5 deals to send over to you next week. So it's just fit perfect for me, really.
Okay, so in terms of that, Craig. So you know, one thing that you said that I've gave you a cash flow calculator. So what would the cash flow calculator now? All you seem to do is put in the purchase price and some rental figures, and it gives you a quick yes or no. Is that? And then are you looking? Where are you looking? Are you looking all over the country, or you said that you're based in Walsall of the West Midlands? Are you only concentrating on Walsall? Why don't you tell us about the different locations where all these deals are coming at?
Yeah, I mean, I've had deals in Grimsby, deals up over by Liverpool, Blackpool, Telford. I've been looking at deals down in Oxford, Coventry, Birmingham,
I'm going to ask a
Walsall.
question because this is going to come up, Craig. How many of these have you actually viewed? So out of the 20 properties that you've sent over to me, and I know there's 20 because on every deal that you said, it says deal number X, deal number, and this is your way of obviously tracking it, that what you've
Yeah,
sent over to me. So out of the 20, how many of you actually physically viewed yourself? When I say physically, gone off and actually gone into the property?
none of them, not one,
Okay.
not one deal.
So are you working with agents within the location that has been able to provide you with information about the property?
Yes, I'm working with several agents, and they've gave me all the information. We've managed to secure that deal, and then yeah, I tell them what I'm about, what I'm doing, who I'm working with, and I can potentially help them sell this property. I tell them what I'm
How are
looking
the
for.
agents? One of the things that people always come to me about, Arsh, I can't find an agent to work with me, or they don't want to work with me. So how are they? Are they being receptive to who you are and what you're all about?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I had the exact same problem when I came to do the day with yourself, and you know, when they realise that we're working with a large network of investors that are buying properties, all different types of property deals all around the country, and we can potentially move these properties on. They and I, you know, I let them know. I always let them know we're going to be putting it out to our investors, and hopefully we'll get back to you within a few days, and we'll arrange some viewings. And it's just the way of wording it that you've taught me how to word it. It just seems to work. So I haven't changed anything or done anything differently to what you told me to do. It just works. So I've actually got agents now calling me, telling me, and emailing me, text messaging me, WhatsApping me about new deals that are coming through that aren't on the open market yet. Would you be
How,
interested in this?
can
Sorry.
I ask how much have you spent in any marketing since you've been working with me?
On these 20 deals, I haven't spent a penny. I've found them all on my laptop.
So you've not visited any of them. You've not spent any money on traveling and going to spend days out here, there, and everywhere. You've not spent any money on marketing, and yet you've done deals. And then, if we're going to be completely transparent, I think we've got offers and completions pending on about 10 of them. We've got another 5 going through viewings, and then the other 5 we've literally recently listed. Is that roughly around right?
Yeah, that's about right, Arsh. Yeah, that's about right. I've got some are close to completion, some are going through. Yeah, we've got viewings lined up, and there's a couple others that have just recently gone on. That I spoke to your assistant the other day. I've got people interested, asking a few questions about those. So yeah, it's really going great, and I've got another 5 or 6 deals in the pipeline that I'm working on. I've got to make some calls to the agents tomorrow, and like I say, I've got agents now calling me. It's only been 2 months, and they're calling me. One of them that we've done a deal with just up in Telford, he called me up just last week, and he said, "I've got some more deals coming up. Would you be interested?"
Is
I
that
said,
the
"Yeah, of
typical agent
course."
that didn't really want to deal with it originally?
That's the one. Yes, he was really awkward, and if you actually called him yourself, because I was having I hadn't been doing it long, and I was having a bit of a struggle with this one. It was very awkward. You called him up, and you had a bit of a chat with him. We managed to get everything he wanted. The deal's gone through. That's actually sold, that deal as, and he's called me up now asking me if I'm interested in more deals.
Okay, so one of the questions that's coming in, Bob saying, well, why would these agents work with you? And I don't mind giving this information away here, is that we work on a model where literally the owner still makes their money from the seller and we make our money from the buyer. So one of the questions that I keep getting asked on this presentation here is, who pays our fee? So the buyer pays our fee. We charge a finder's fee to the buyer. So when we're speaking to agents, we say to the agents, you retain 100% of your seller's fee, and we make our money off the buyer. So the agent is not losing any commission. So did that resonate with you, Craig, when I said that to you? Because what were other people saying to you before you came to meet me?
Yes, it did resonate with me because I mean, I was thinking the same myself. How do I explain to the agent that I'm going to be passing the deal on to somebody else? But I let them know, look, I actually work for the investors and they pay me to find the deals for them. And once I introduce you together, I don't get in the way of any of your transactions, you know, with the sale of the property, and just explain that I literally find the property, introduce the investor, and then I'm kind of out the way but kept in the loop of what's going on.
So,
Um,
Craig, Chris has just asked a question. Are these deals rent to rent or buying properties for lenders, buying properties for investors? So, out of all the ones, you've not bought me a rent to rent deal yet. These have all been either ready-made HMOs or single lets that was sold via the Property Investor app, which is my platform for property investors. We've got over 38,000 investors on the platform, and because Craig has now almost like homed in on his niche and his offering, every stock, every property that he brings, pretty much I know is going to sell. And we know that because the amount of activity that we've had off Craig's deals, he seems to have just got the formula right. So I suppose, Craig, in terms of that now, what's next? You said when we spoke last week that you're aiming to do 50 deals this year, aren't you?
yes, that's my goal for this year. I want to sell 50 deals this year before Christmas, which I'm fairly confident I can do. I've just got to keep up the momentum. But I'm also, I mean, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing because I'm looking for buy to lets, HMOs, etc. But I am going to start looking into a few rent to rents as well. But for the time being, I'm still mastering this because I'm doing really well, but I still want to work at it to get even better at what I'm doing because I believe there's so many deals out there. When you start to realize and look, it's almost it, it's hard to explain, but you just seem to spot more and more and more. It gets quite addictive as well.
It's
Um,
not that you've become receptive to the opportunity, and I suppose the best way of me describing it is that if I said, Craig, I've not seen a pink car today, it's because I've not been looking for a pink car. But if I said to you, Craig, tomorrow, keep your eye out for a pink car, you'll be surprised that how many times over the next couple of days you will actually see pink cars
yeah,
appear in
yeah,
your site.
yes, definitely. I
Important,
think for me,
you now know what you're looking for.
exactly that. I was originally looking at things from a different angle, and I've learned to adjust to opening my mind a little bit and seeing different ways you can make money from different properties. You know, there's so many different ways that you can turn these into deals, and and I only know a fraction of that really. I feel like I can go a lot further, but it just works. I haven't changed anything that we learned, what that you taught me in your office. I've just literally gone out and implemented it because you did tell me, you said, look, I can show you what to do, but I can't do it for you. You've got to get out there and you've got to do it. And that's what I did.
So Dave has asked a question. He goes, so Craig brings the deal to your app and you guys sell it. So I suppose, has that been the easy part for you, Craig? Because having to find having to find the deal and then trying to find the buyer, would you suggest that that would be quite hard because you're then having to deal with two parts of the transaction, whereas at the moment you're only having to deal with one?
Yeah, definitely. I actually love that part of it because I send the deal over to you. You appraise the deal. You make sure it's okay, and then you and your team sell the deal to the investors. You keep me in touch with me. We book viewings together, etc. Put the offers into it when you say, yeah, this one wants to buy that deal. It's it's really good because it kind of kicks me up the backside as well, because I don't want to let you down, because we're working together on it, and I don't want to let your team down, which kind of motivates me even more, if that makes sense.
Yeah, of course. Well, my
And
said to me that they speak to you more than they speak to me.
yes, yes, we speak a few times a day at the moment. Yeah, because there's that much going on. But it's great, because it's great for me, because I know people are interested in the deals, and the deals going through, and it's brilliant. And I'm doing at least half the work for me. I'm literally going out, finding the deal, putting the figures together, and sending it over to you, and the rest kind of happens in the background then.
Okay, so Bob has asked a question. So, what was Craig doing before this venture, and why did he decide to make the move?
Well, I had a few deals. Well, I'm going back a few years now. I had a couple of rent-to-rent properties, and then when the lockdown hit, the main lockdown in 2020 was it? I had a few personal problems as well, so I lost those properties. I ended up giving them back. I set up a. I've been buying and selling cars, a small car business, buying and selling cars from home, and I also set up about 18 months ago a window cleaning business, which I recently sold. Um, I just didn't have any passion in the window cleaning business, and whilst all this has been going on, I've always felt a bit gutted about my property journey kind of ending, and I always thought, well, can I get back into it? Should I get back into it? I'd spent, thousands in the past on training with other people that kind of sold me the dream, and nothing really came of it. But in the end, it was just eating away at me, and I thought, I've got to meet this guy, because you're fairly local to where I am, and you're actually doing what you're teaching, and yeah, so I just gave you a call, and it went from there.
Okay. I mean, there's lots of questions. So Andy says, do you get exclusivity? So there is a level of exclusivity that is negotiated, but I think agents, providing that we can deliver on what we say we do, have no issue with that. Because, at the moment, as it stands, that property is listed as unsold. Whereas if we can, no, just to give you an example, I think there's a property that we put out on Thursday, and it's sold within the same day. So, and agents can't believe how quick things are moving. Because let's face it, ultimately, estate agents, they are a business, and within their transaction, the way that their business works is that they want to see a sold board go up outside that property. The more sold boards that they can show within their town, their city, their region, the more chances are that other vendors are going to start talking and say, guys, okay, in actual fact, this is the agent that's doing the most business in this location, and as a result, they'll get more instructions. So that's how it works. They work on a referral basis. They work on, every sold board that goes up, they get more eyes on deck, shall we say? And as a result, so actually, so Shona says, do you source deals for other people, only for Arsh? So at the moment, as it stands, Craig, as far as I'm aware, every deal that's Craig has sourced has come through the Property Investor app. Is that right, Craig?
Yeah, that's correct. To be honest, I'm not really interested in working direct with not deal sources, sorry, the investors. I'm happy to do it like this. This works well for me, with me and my son, because I'm also a single parent. So it's half of the work's being done for me this way. I prefer it that way. So this is how I want it to stay. I feel like I can find more deals easier rather than find investors. By the time I found an investor, I could have probably found another 2 or 3 deals and sent it over to the app.
Yep, that's the whole point of the Property Investor app. It's a marketplace for property investment deals. So Mohammed said, how does it work? So we work on a 50-50 split fee basis. So if Craig brings a deal, and let's just imagine that the fee is, let's say, £3,000, it works on a 50-50 split fee basis. If there's any questions, well, I'm just conscious of time. Craig, are you okay to hold on towards the end? And then we'll go through the rest of the content, and then we can do a massive Q&A with you. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine, Arsh. Yeah, yeah.
Brilliant. So there's lots of questions that are coming in for you. I'm just conscious if we spend here, we could be here until 10 o'clock answering all the questions. All right. So hold the line, Craig, and I'll see you at the end. Okay.
Yes, no problem.
No problem. So let's get moving on, guys. There's lots and lots of questions. If there are questions, so as Rosemary said, half the fee is better than nothing. You can either have 100% of something or 50% you can either have 100%, 50% of something or 100% of nothing. Now, Craig goes off and finds his own investors, which he may want to do in the future, then that's absolutely fine. But in the meanwhile, he's utilizing our platform and we're doing 50% of the work and therefore we're taking 50% of the fee. So let's get moving on. So can ordinary people succeed? And when I say that in the nicest possible way and respect with Craig, because I think we speak to him so often now. Like I said, my team speak to him more than they speak to me. Here's some of the deals that he found. He found a deal in Worksop. He found a deal in Luton, in Hull, in Warsaw, in Burnley, in Boston, just to name a few. You know, I could put all 20 up there, but you know, Craig is one of the few people that I work with, and as part of, you'll probably see in the top right hand corner there, the Elite Property Tribe is a tribe of people that I've created that find deals, or I work with to train to show them how to find deals, and they go off and go and find deals and bring them back in for us to present to the property investors on the Property Investor app. So Kevin West is the young gentleman that you see on the left-hand side. He actually found me a block of 6 flats, fully tenanted and income produced. And now this one was actually sourced via an estate agent on Rightmove. Now, one of the questions that came through on the chat whilst we're speaking to Craig is, why are agents not doing this themselves? And the answer is very simply is that agents are very good at selling some properties. There's certain style of properties that they may not have that database for. And, you know, a block of flats, Mr. and Mrs. Smith that have got a couple of kids are not going to want to move into a block of 6 apartments. But the estate agent is still going to take that instruction. Now, as a result of that, they hadn't sold it onto their database. And they had the properties on their books for a couple of months. Now, Kevin approached the agent. As a result of approaching the agent was happy for Kevin to work alongside myself as a property investor app and Kevin, and we sold this within 2 hours. We sold it within a couple of days to an investor on our database, and in exchange we charge a £4,000 fee. Now, key notes: I don't get anyone to go and do viewings up and down the country. I don't recommend it. You don't need to. It's a waste of time. The agent would have done all that for you. They would have taken all the pictures, they would have done all the floor plans and everything for you. So no viewing done by Kevin, all done remotely, all round his current job. Now, another young gentleman, chap called Tamor, he's based in Wolverhampton, believe it or not, in my neck of the woods. He's actually done 6 deals within the space of a few months, and he netted the best part of £30,000 in fees. And here's one of them. The first one that he did was a 6-bed HMO in Hull, fully tenanted, income producing, sourced via an estate agent on Rightmove. Took approximately 2 hours to source, analyse, call the agent, get exclusivity and package it up, and sold within 7 days. And in return, we charged £4,000. And he goes, considering I never physically viewed the property and charged £4,000 fee, is fantastic for a couple of hours of work. Wouldn't you agree? Now, this guy, now we all talk about that we've got limits. We all talk about that we've not got time. We all talk about the constraints that we feel. And, you know, giving yourself an example of how many of you guys said to yourself that you're gonna become fit this year, you're gonna join the gym, and then you find and you say, oh, I can't find the time, life's become too busy. Now, guy on the right hand side is a guy called Rahil Jakura. Now, he's a very inspirational young man, because he's actually based in Saudi Arabia, which is the other side of the world in a completely different time zone. Now, he's a very active family man, and that's his reason why. He actually works 12 hours a day as an engineer, and he said to me that he wanted to actually start turning it around so that he doesn't have to work so hard. So he started spending 1 hour a night searching for deals. And again, bear in mind, he's based in Saudi Arabia, so it's not like he can jump on a plane and come and visit the properties. And as a result of spending 1 hour a night, he sources approximately 4 deals a month, working around his 12-hour work day plus managing his family. Now, we all have that constraint, but his ability to knock that out of his head and say, I'm going to succeed at this. And his average fee is approximately 3,000. As well as that, he's gone on to build a small portfolio of rent-to-rent properties, which are all fully managed by a guy in the UK, all done whilst in a different country and a different time zone. Now, if that is not impressive, I don't know what is. And Raheel, I've been working with for, believe it or not, a few years now, and he is very consistent with doing deals. There's no reason why you can't do it the same. So Jay Halley says, I'm finding it difficult to find deals in Scotland. Are you? I noticed you had one at the moment. It could be that we're not just focusing on deals in Scotland. We haven't perhaps got a contact that's not working for us in Scotland right now, but chances are that there are deals in Scotland. There's definitely deals in Scotland. So there's no reason why you can't find deals in Scotland. And as a result, we sell deals in Scotland. We put one up in Scotland, I think a couple of weeks ago, sold instantly. So we've got a reservation on that. So they definitely sell in Scotland. So going back to my point, Raheel has probably got it 5 times harder than any of you guys sat on the webinar. He's working in a different time zone. He's working in difficult position and a difficult, he makes it work because he wants it to work. It's the honest answer. Right, okay. So again, going back to my point, no need to be a one-trick pony because, again, going by what Craig said, he looks at all different properties, all different types, all different strategies, and he works what's best for the owner and the purchaser. So we've gone through some of the deals. So we talked about some of the deals that Craig done. Here's some of the deals that we did in 2021. So we've got a 14-bed HMO. We've got 2 blocks of flats here. We've got rent-to-service accommodation. We've got a 9-bed HMO. We've got a shop with a terraced house with a shop front. We've got a rent-to-rent serviced apartment there. We've got a 8-bedroom house. We've got a 9-bedroom house. Again, every deal is different. No two negotiations will be the same. Now, the reason why I say this is that when we look at the opportunity, people say, I can't find a deal. You've got to realize that there's 53,000 estate agents in the UK. Now, Craig alone, as great as he is not going to be able to cover a field of 53,000 estate agents. Craig's probably actually only talking to, the best part of 10, maybe the best part of 10 estate agents. What happens to the other 52,990 estate agents? Now, this is where I need you guys to help me because Rightmove has over 800,000 properties. Now, I'm not saying that we all just go and blitz Rightmove because that's only one strategy out of approximately a strategy of about 10 strategies. So, on the back of that, I want to start working with people. And when people are saying, well, I can't get estate agents to work with me, have a quick look at that email that's on screen right now. I have estate agents email me every day saying, Arsh, I've got this property, we've had it for a few months. The agents potentially, we're going to lose the instruction if we can't sell this property. Shall we give it a run on the property investor app? Can we do something? Can we get it listed? And once you start creating this relationship, believe it or not, the marketing costs are 0. More importantly, you've got everything to win because, this is the estate agent's almost like last chance at getting a sale before the agent goes, the vendor goes elsewhere. So from your point of view, you're going to win regardless. And more important, if you sell the deal, you've got that agent in the palm of your hand that's going to be feeding you deal after deal after deal after deal. And more importantly, it's completely free. The agent has done all the work for you. So one of the questions that came in said, how do you know that there's not, how do you know that the agent hasn't picked up on something that, for argument's sake, there might be some structural issues? Chances are that if the agent's not picked up on it, it's going to be very discreet, and that will come up in form of evaluation. So why would they work with me? And I call it simple. I help sell their properties and make it easy work for them. They still make exactly the same commission because they're making the money from the seller. It gives them another avenue to market their properties. I make money from a property I simply control, and I use the word control because I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. I'm simply helping selling it, and it's a win-win all round. The agent makes their money. The property investor app makes their money. The investor buys their property, and everyone wins. So I've only spoke briefly about Zoopla. Rightmove. We've not taken into consideration Zoopla, On the Market, Spare Room, Open Rent, Gumtree, eBay. They're just some of them that we look at. We've got so many more that we work with. So, and again, I'll keep going back to this. No transactions will ever be the same. No negotiation will ever be the same. So therefore, you can't get stuck into that mindset of being that one-trick pony. And again, looking at the different types of deals that we do below market value deals, we do full market value deals, we do rent-to-rent deals, we do lease option deals, we do some deals that are direct to vendor, some deals that are direct from agents, we do some deals that are co-sourcing from other sources as well, not to mention other agents as well. And then here's some other deals that we've put on there as well. So again, other deals that we're doing. Now, the reason why I'm presenting this is because I actually run a training program called the Elite Property Tribe. Now, this is my flagship training program. We only do it twice a year, in February and June. And as part of this, I want to show you what you can become as being part of the Elite Property Tribe. Now, as Craig has done, he's going to be finding all kinds of deals all throughout the year and presenting them on the Property Investor app. And we're going to be in essence halving his workload by 50% by selling them to our property investors who are ready to buy stock. So when we talk about success in the tribe, Craig is just one of many people that I've helped all over the country find deals. So you can see that we've got Esther there. So she goes, I can honestly say Arsh is great. It's not about me. You know, I'm very clear that it's not about me. It's about the system. It's about literally teaching you how to find the property, how to appraise a property, and then let's get it listed on the app and let's sell the property. And it is, the key is not for me to keep it. And if you want more case studies, feel free to go and check out the Property Investor app. Download the app if you're on the App Store. Go to propertyinvestorapp.co.uk and check it out for yourself. And there's some of the other deals that we've done. Again, I can talk to you all evening about deals. But again, it's not about me. It's about what the guys do that bring the deals. So what is the Elite Property Tribe? The Elite Property Tribe is a training program where I've done it so that it doesn't just specifically teach you on one niche. It doesn't teach you just to find below market value deals. It teaches you how to find all the different kinds of deals. So whether it be deal trading, rent to rent, lease options, HMO, service accommodation, commercial to residential. So they're the headline topics. On top of that, we then teach you how to source each one. We then teach you how to appraise each one. We then teach you how to find the cash flow avenues for each one and the exit strategies for each one. So the Elite Property Tribe is 52 modules of online training. And we do a fortnightly live deal clinic and problem solving webinar with me. So every fortnight we do a problem solving clinic and a deal solving clinic. So if you've got a deal and you're not sure exactly which way to play the deal, or if you're not sure of whether it is actually a deal, that's when we say bring it along to a deal clinic and we'll go through it live with all the other EPT members. As well as that, you get to come and do a shadow day with me. So the day that Craig was talking about, that's a shadow day. So you come and sit with me in my office, and you can do it as many times throughout the year as possible. You don't just do it once. And off the back of that, you then come and spend the day with me. That's where I get to learn and listen to what you're saying to agents and vendors. And I can kind of think, okay, yes, that's quite good. This part needs improvement, and we fine tune your offering so that then instead of no, 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 yes, no, it then becomes yes, 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 yes. And we turn you into this deal machine that Craig has become. As well as that, you also have daily 10-minute calls to discuss opportunities. So I have a call booking link, and off the back of that, only EPT members get that call booking link. If you've got a question or you've got any issues that you want to discuss, you book that call and we go through that, and that's all part of the EPT. We have 4 virtual meetups, 4 live or virtual meetups throughout the year. The next one being on the 11th of February. You get access to 400 hours plus of previous webinars, recordings, and live meets. And not only that, you get to JV and sell the deals to my investor database. And this is only part of it if you're part of the EPT. You get access to all my useful contacts, plus contracts, the templates, and spreadsheets. One of the questions that came out was, do I sell my spreadsheet separately? No, I don't. It's only for EPT members. So you can see from the Elite Property Tribe, this is the actual program. You can see all the modules that we've got there. So we go through every specific, it's almost style of strategy. So what is the strategy? More importantly, the way that I describe myself is that lots of other trainers talk about the theory of it, but they don't show you the practical. I'm very much a case of practical. I'll teach you about, let's just imagine people talk about what is a HMO. And not only will I talk to you about what is a HMO, I'll talk to you about what is a HMO, how to set up the HMO, who you should be targeting for your HMO, how you should be getting your property ready to generate a commercial valuation on your HMO, and how you should be cash flowing and getting all your money out of that HMO. So this very much is not only just a practical approach, a theoretical approach, but very much a hands-on practical approach. Now, the reason why people join the Elite Property Tribe is because I would call it's a hand-holding approach. So everyone has access to me. So when we have access to me, every deal that you have, we talk through it, we walk through it, and we see how we can monetize that deal. Now, as part of the Elite Property Tribe, I do what I would call a day on the phones. Now, the first one, as I mentioned, is on Friday, the 11th of February. And a day on the phones is a day of action, where is that we get everyone in a room, where we spend a day looking for deals, a day speaking to vendors and agents, a day appraising deals, a day calculating the ROI, a day looking for hotspots and looking at supply and demand, working in groups with fellow EPT members. And then it's only available to EPT members. So if you're a little bit uncertain and not sure exactly how you're going to get started, or you want someone to kind of pull you out, not pull you out your shell, or literally bring you out your shell, the EPT is the perfect environment for you, because it is very much catered around making sure that we grow not only in confidence, but as well as confidence, grow with your negotiation skills and bring deals to the table. So that day is happening on Friday, the 11th of February. Location is a hotel in Wolverhampton. We're just trying to locate how many numbers we're expecting, and as a result, we'll be catering that day, and everyone would be looking to do a deal on that day. So here's a guy. So last year, a young gentleman called Jay Uday, was it last year or year before? Anyway, Jay came to me with no property experience, no money to invest. He became an EPT member, and within a day, he managed to get 2 HMO deals where we sourced and packaged the deals, offered them to investors, and we did £10,000 in sourcing fee. And for those that want to know, Jay's the person that is on the right-hand side, top right-hand corner there. And we did 2 deals within that day. Now, not everyone's going to do 2 deals, but I'd like to think that most of you are going to do 1 deal that day. And again, a day of the action is where you're going to be looking for deals directly. You're going to be speaking to agents, you're going to be speaking to vendors, you're going to try and see if you can get a deal done that day. It's about calculating the ROIs, it's about appraising the deals, it's about getting you actually doing what we teach, not literally just sitting behind a screen and saying, oh yeah, I'll think about it, I might do it. This is about the action takers and getting that action and turn it into a monetary reward so that you can see that it's actually doable, and as a result, this will kickstart your year. So again, you get access to my network, so network of professionals. You get access and support from me daily, and also you get all, so you can book a call with me, you come and do the shadow days. We have the fortnightly deal clinics and so much more. You don't have to make the mistakes because I've already made them for you. And one thing I'd say is it's very much hand-holding. I'll be by your side. We've got the fortnightly deal clinics. We've got the daily calls should you need me. You've got my personal mobile number. You'll be in a private WhatsApp group with the EPT members. We've got the EPT learning journal. So every time you make a call, I want you to journalize it. Off the back of that, I can look at your journal. I can see how many calls you made that day, how many calls you made that month, and see how is that turned into deals. If you've made 100 calls and you're only getting 10 yeses, we need to change that. We need those let's say that and I'm not saying that you're going to make 100 calls, by the way, but even if you're making 1 call a day, I want to be able to see how the results turn from 1 call a day. If you're getting in a month, if you're doing 30 calls that month at 1 a day, or even say 20 calls at 1 a day, if you're not getting any deals out of that, I want to change your offering so that we can see how we can turn those no's into yeses. And again, it is about turning you into a deal machine. Just going back, we've got the WhatsApp group, we've got the learning journal, we've got the 400 hours of previous recordings that you'll get full access to, and quarterly EPT meets, and the next one being on the 11th of Feb. You can see the WhatsApp group on the left-hand corner. You can see we've got a Facebook group, but I'd rather keep everything WhatsApp if possible. Let's keep moving on. So the learning journal, you can see here, we get you to write down your intentions and goals, your weekly accountable journal. So how many people you're going to call, who you're going to call, why are you calling them, what's it, how have you spoken to them, and more importantly, what's the plan after that call? Are you going to speak to them thereafter? So again, just to recap, there's 52 modules on all the different strategies. Now, there's 2 ways to join the EPT, and I've tried to make it extremely clear. So the full cost of the course is £6,000, and you get the opportunity to pay half now, and the remainder is only payable when you've done deals. That's how confident I am that you will do deals. So you pay half by paying £3,000, which is 50%, and the remainder is paid when you have succeeded and you've not when you've done deals. If you have not done any deals, you do not pay the remainder. So that's my incentive to get you to do deals. So that's my way of saying I believe in you. Now you can pay in 1 month, 1 payment. Alternatively, you have the opportunity to break it down into a 12 monthly payment plan. Now the reason why I've done this is to make it affordable so we can get more people working with us. Now it's a little bit more expensive. If you pay on a monthly, it's £350 a month, because we have to accommodate 12 lots of credit card transactions, etc., and a little bit more admin. And the remainder, again, is paid when you have done deals. Now, someone asked a question that asked, you have to pay the £3,000 from 1 deal if you do it. No, you break it over a number of deals. So let's just imagine that you've done a deal and we've done a 50-50 split. You pay a small percentage, so it could be £200 to £400 out of that deal. Then you do £400 out the next deal, whatever it may be, and that's just a conversation that we have at that time. Now, on a month-by-month basis, it's the modules are drip-fed on a month-by-month basis, but you still have immediate access to all the back end and all the archive of material as well. So to get involved in the EPT, if you want more info, you can literally I'll tell you what I will do. Someone said, can you just copy these? I'll copy these and I'll put it in the chat. And then whilst we're having a chat with Craig, there we go. If you quickly look in your chat there, you'll see that you've got the links there. Feel free to click on those. So let's quickly check. So here's some other people that have done success in the tribe. Ashley Walker, he's built a whole portfolio where he's managed to pull all his money out of all of his deals. Bav, done multiple deals where they're all rent-to-rent, direct-to-owner. Lenka has done multiple deals where they're direct-to-owner as well as agents. Ale has built a large property portfolio on a rent-to-rent basis off the back of the Elite Property Tribe. We've got Amanda Merrington, who's done multiple deals direct to agents, and Adam, believe it or not, is probably the most successful deal sourcer that I've ever trained. We've done over 50 deals together, and whether that be blocks of apartments, whether it be single lets, multi-lets, HMOs, rent-to-rent deals, all of them, and he's done those together. And as part of the Elite Property Tribe, you can use the leverage of the Property Investor app to negotiate deals with vendors and agents, and you can become that go-to person in your area. So just a recap of what the Elite Property Tribe is: the 52 modules, the shadowing days, the 10-minute calls, the virtual meets, the 400 hours of previous webinars. You get to JV and sell your deals via me and the Property Investor app, and you've got access to me through the WhatsApp chats and also the deal clinics. So now is the perfect opportunity. Let's open the Q&A session. Let's have a quick look. Oh my God, right, we've got loads. So Dave says, do we get access to your investors right away? Yes. So Dave, when we talk about that, you present the opportunity to us, we put it onto the platform, and then we sell the deal to our database. And the way that it works is that you control the seller, we control our buyer, and we make the deal work. Okay, so how do you secure exclusivity? So let me just have a quick look. Craig, I'm going to see if I can get you back online. Hi, Craig.
Hi, Arsh.
Right. Okay. So, question is, so a couple of questions that are coming in. So, sorry, I'm not sure if I'm going to pronounce your name right. Turnish says, is it always a 50-50 split? Yes, there is. So I'll let me go through some of these questions. So someone says, how do you know whether the deal will sell? So what we've got is that we've actually got a criteria, or when I say criteria, Craig has been given a cash flow calculator. And in that calculator, he very specifically puts in some details like the purchase price, puts in some rental information, and at the bottom it pretty much goes either red or green. Red means that it's going to hit parameters for a lot of people. Green means that it's going to hit parameters for a lot of people. Red means that it may be a maybe. So these are things that we're looking at, but we're quite clear that there's specific types of properties and specific locations that we have kind of identified as hotspots. And off the back of that, there's no reason. When I say there's no reason, I suppose the true answer is no one can guarantee that a property is ever going to sell. An estate agent can't give you that guarantee either. But on the basis that we've got a very strong database, there's no reason why it wouldn't sell. Okay, so Raphael says you need to be part of the EPT to sell deals. So we are specifically working with EPT members to sell deals. If you have got a deal and you think it's a great deal, we will look at it. We won't appraise it and literally case it's a yes or no, and then we work off the back of that. So Raphael, if you have got something you want to send it across more, then we'll look at it. Okay, so Lisa says, I work 9 to 5. Is this always during the weekdays? So just so that you know, Lisa, the deal clinics are in the evening. They're Monday evenings between 7 and roughly between 7 and 9 p.m., depending on how many deals are presented and how many properties we need to look at. The call booking system is normally during the day. We can try and help if required elsewhere. But a lot of the support, you've got the WhatsApp group, you've got, all the videos, you've got the modules. You watch them as and where you please. So treat it. I've got some people that treat it like Netflix. They watch them, during the week, in the weekends, in the evenings, and you can watch them as and where you please. So, okay, so Craig, there's a lot of question around exclusivity and what you kind of say to agents. So without giving away the full trick of what you're doing, so why do agents buy into you, Craig? What's so special about Craig Webb?
Well, when I find a deal with a particular agent, I ask them about the deal, the usual spiel. Is it available, etc.? Is it, why is it on the market? How come it's not sold? And then I tell them a little bit about myself, who I work with, what we do, what kind of deals we've done, and I tell them that there's a good chance that I tell them that I've already got investors interested in this deal because I've already put it into the calculator. I've already got the green light. I know that particular deal is going to get interest. And I tell them that if they let me put it out to my investors, I'll keep in contact with them, and hopefully within a couple of days I'll be back in touch to arrange a viewing. And it's that simple, really. Normally I do get back to them, arrange a viewing, or we've even sold properties without some of them. They've not even done the viewing on them. They've just wanted to buy them, and then you get you build a rapport with them, and they're just them giving me deals now that haven't even gone on the market yet.
Okay,
so that's kind of how it works, really. It's just about having that conversation and being being yourself really, and letting them know who you are, what you've got to offer to them, because we're actually helping them, we're selling their deals for them, and you know, it's they're still getting their fee, so everybody's happy. They give you you know, exclusivity to it then, and you build your rapport with them, and that's it really.
Okay, so it's interesting. Okay, so I mean, how do you find the whole how do you find the whole process, Craig? Because someone says, well, Arsh goes, why didn't Craig go and find off his own? Someone's just come in and said, why doesn't Craig go off and find his own investors and keep the whole fee for himself?
That's simple really, because you're doing half the work for me. If anything, you're doing more. You've created the app, you've created the platform, you've got the contacts, you've got the team around you. You're talking directly with the investors. It's half the work. It's half the headache. More than half the headache taken away for me. So I get to do the bit that I enjoy, which is I love working numbers out on properties. I like looking at properties and looking for deals. So that's the reason why. I mean, obviously, it did cross my mind I could build my own investor database, but it works for me to work like this. This is what I enjoy doing. I enjoy finding deals, and the other half's done for me.
Okay, I suppose I should put in there just for the for what has been said on the in one of the chat channels. There is that, you know, there's nothing stopping Craig from going off and building his own portfolio. There are multiple ways of finding investors, you know, whether you, and the quickest way that Craig could perhaps build a database is by, you know, going out on social media and seeing who wants stock. And you see this daily. People go out and say, oh, I've got stock, who wants to see it, etc. But then bearing in mind that we're doing 50% of the work in terms of we're speaking to the investors, we're ensuring that the investors are in a position to move forward, and they're, you know, we've got the platform for it. So yes, when someone said what's the quickest way of building investor database, get yourself out on social media, get yourself, and that is the quickest way. The only issue that I've seen from people doing that is that you don't know how bona fide that investor database is. You know, anyone could say that they're an investor, but have they got the ability to buy is the biggest question. And I've seen lots of sources have come to us and said, we put a deal out on social media, we got inundated by people coming to us, but the fact is that none of them were investors. They just wanted to see the opportunity. So take that into consideration, take that as you will, but you will spend a lot of time doing that. Whereas we've cut out pretty much 50% of that work so that we can sell it to a database of investors that are there. We know they buy it because we sell to them every day. So let's quickly go through. How do you make sure that sources are compliant? So Tim, just so that you know, compliance is a big issue. When I say big issue, it's a big topic to discuss. Now, because the investors are on the Property Investor app, and because it's the Property Investor app that's selling the deal to the property investor, it's not Craig that's selling them. Craig doesn't necessarily have to be compliant because it will work off the compliance of the Property Investor app, which is part that I didn't mention earlier. So when people say, is it easier? And then again, that's one thing that Craig has, one less thing that Craig has to worry about. So the estate agent is compliant from their side, dealing with the vendor. We're compliant from our side from dealing with the investor. So hopefully that makes sense. If you want to become an independent deal sourcer, the things that you need to concentrate on becoming an independent deal source is that you need to get your anti-money laundering regulations in place. You need to get insurance policies in place. You need to have ICO, which is the Information Commissioner's Officer, and you need to become a member of the PRS, which is the Property Redress Scheme. Now, to do all that, it costs on average around £800 a year, depending on which insurance provider that you use. So Rosemary said, becoming compliant is too expensive, and I agree. This method would work for me. So Rosemary, in that respect, there's no reason for you to, you know, you can sell your deals via the Property Investor app. But in order for us to do that, we've got to get you to understand what is a deal and get you through the Property Investor app, get you through the get you through the training. So Andy says, compliance, does Craig have to be TPO redress or not necessarily selling through the app? As I just mentioned, because selling it through the app, as he's selling it through the app, it works off our compliance. Lisa says, I'm always coming across rent-to-rent deals and the owner is living abroad. I'm always worried about these deals and feel like that they could be scams. I have two ladies, two separate apartments, email them exactly the same wording in an email. Sorry, I have two ladies, two separate apartments, emailed me exactly the same wording in the document. So best thing to do, Lisa, follow it through and see who can deliver. And off the back of that, remember, you don't have to take it yourself. And if you're not sure about it, sell the deal on to someone else and then go from there. Does that make sense? So Rosemary said, property on your own is lonely. And I completely get that. And as part of the EPT, you're part of a community. So Martin says, how many estate agents does Craig target? And are they all local or the nationwide? So Craig, do you want to tell us what makes you, what makes you target the areas that you target? Because so far I've seen deals in Grimsby, I've seen deals in Hull, I've seen deals in the West Midlands, I've seen deals heading down south. What's your strategy there?
Well, at the moment, I'm looking for properties that offer a certain return on investment. So they're already income providing assets, really. I originally started looking around Walsall, Birmingham, Wolverhampton, and then I thought, why just look around here? Start looking further afield. So I started looking a bit more up north, a bit more down south, and it just kind of went from there, really. And I've kind of found little pockets of what I would call gold mine areas where I keep going over those areas every so often. And yeah, it's just gone from there. I mean, I've even been looking up in Scotland at some deals. I've been looking in Wales, all over the place, really. And I'll target, I don't have a certain amount of agents that I target. I just target as many as I want to. I'll say to myself, right, tomorrow I'm going to find two deals because I've got days. Obviously, I buy and sell a few cars. I've got other things going on. And tomorrow I'm going to find two deals, and I'll find as many deals as I need to find wherever they may be in the country until I find those two deals. I might find five, but then I might make the 5 phone calls and only 2 of them work out to be a good deal. So I just target as many as I need to, really.
A question that's coming: how many do you meet the agents in person? Terence has asked a question.
No, just over the phone. I've not met any of these agents in person. I've not viewed all the properties I've sent over to Arsh. I've not viewed a single one of them. I've literally spoke to the agents over the phone, but I do get the obviously whoever it is I'm speaking to, I get their name and try and build up a bit of rapport with that person. And that's it, really. It's that simple. I've only ever met one person, which was a local person to me, and that was a direct to vendor rent to rent deal. I went to view the property just to try and build up a bit of rapport, really. Just so happens I didn't get the deal on that one. All the deals that I've got, I've not viewed any of them.
Okay. Yeah, but like I said, you don't need to go and meet you don't need to go. Well, like I said, I can't remember last time that I've been out to meet agents and stuff, because a lot of the stuff can be done online. So a lot of the work and the background homework has been done online. So I'm just trying to think. So there's more questions that are coming through. So Jason says, are the properties that you source and list on the app still left on the market? So a lot of the agents will give a level of exclusivity, Jason. So when we say give a level of exclusivity, you speak to the agent, you tell them what they're all about, and it varies on an agent by agent basis. Not every agent is going to give you exclusivity, so you may need to weigh up what agent you work with and how that works. And you need to calculate also your risk factor for that property. And the reason why I say risk factor is because if you put something out to your investor database or my investor database, knowing that it is open and on the market there's a very good chance that people may try and cut you out the equation. So that's something for you to take into consideration, and that's something that I kind of teach to show you how to get around as well. Andy says, why don't the estate agents just put the deals on the app themselves? We do work with some agents that do provide us with stock, but bear in mind, Andy, as I said, there's 58,000 estate agents all over the country, and I can't work with 58,000. And more important, one of the questions says, what happens if someone brings me a deal and then Craig also presents it? We always work with the first person that presented us with the opportunity. So let's have a quick look. So one of the questions says, do we work under a limited company or do we work for you? No, you're working for yourself. So you are self-employed, and the opportunities that you bring will be as a reward for your efforts. So I'm going through as many questions as I can. Okay, so let's have a quick look. I'm quickly trying to go through. We've gone through. Okay, I think we've pretty much answered all the questions that have come through. Is there any other questions that we need to answer before we kind of wrap up? So some people saying, Arsh, I can't see a deal in the southeast. Why is that? And it could just be because no one's bought us a deal in that location. And if this is your location, now might be the opportunity to learn how to deal source, and off the back of that, now become that person in that area and find stock in that location. Okay, so someone says, can you put the cost page up again, please? So Lisa, there you go. Let me just have a quick look. So you've got the full price plan, and that's where you pay 50% up front, and then the 50% is paid once you have done deals, or if you do deals. The second part is that you can do it on a monthly payment plan. So, and that's my way of just pretty much showing that my commitment to you is that, I don't have to offer a monthly plan, but I want to make it affordable so that you guys can learn and do this as you go along. Remember, it takes one deal to cover the cost of this workshop. That's the whole point of it. You one deal and this workshop will pay for itself. So Damien says, how do you negotiate a keener price on a property you've never seen with an agent you've never met? Now, that's a great question, Damien, because I will say that when you're looking at a property, price is never always the most important factor. You will look at all different kinds of things. And again, going back to my point of not being that one-trick pony, you look at it from a point of view, can you add value? Can you generate further cash flow? Is there other ways that we can negotiate? The reason why I say this, Damien, I don't mind saying this, is because just imagine that an estate agent has got a property on the market for £100,000. Now you come in and you negotiate a purchase price of 90,000, and you say, I'm going to sell it to my investors for 90,000. Now, what happens if another investor comes along through you and they like the property, and although the vendor's just accepted your 90,000, this investor now comes in and puts an offer of 85,000. Straight away, that's going to put you in a very difficult position, because the vendor feels like that they've been undercut again. They've gone through a second round of negotiations. So therefore, as a deal sourcer, you do not get involved in negotiations, not at this stage. It's only once you've got an investor and let them put forward the offer and get the deal done. So, I'm not your typical deal sourcer. I will show you different strategies and go from there. Jason says, I know cash investors, can they buy off you direct? So if they've got deal, if they want to buy, Jason, and you want to work on this, I understand what you're trying to do, that you're trying to sell my deals onto your investors. So you're treating it as almost like co-sourcing. You can, but just bear in mind, we don't struggle for selling property. So if you've got an investor and you want to buy it and we've not already sold it, more than happy to have a chat. So Andy says, when does your finder get their fee? When the property completes on exchange or when agreed joining seller and investor. So it's always done on completion, Andy. And the reason why I say that is because just imagine that an investor is agreed an offer on it and they're moving forward. Just imagine that I now pay you, and during that process that he finds that there's some kind of structural issue or an issue with the title and they can't proceed. Now, in my terms of business, it states that anything to do with the property, if there's an issue to do with the property and it's out of the buyer's control, then they get a full refund. If I've already paid you, that puts me in a very difficult position. Okay, so Phil says, so the deal is agreed and listed on your app. What does your app charge once an investor takes the deal? So we charge a finder's fee. Does that make sense? We charge a finder's fee, so that's how we make our money. So how long is this offer available for? So Mohammed, we generally take around 30 people on the Elite Property Tribe. So we are going to be looking to close the Elite Property Tribe. We're going to look to start pushing forward with the training. It all starts on the first Monday of February, and the Elite Property Tribe, the day on the phones is Friday the 11th, but we want to be closed well before then. So pretty much no, I've answered that question. Is there any other questions that anyone wants to ask Craig whilst we've still got him? If not, I think we'll pretty much bring the session to a close. We've answered a lot of questions. We've gone through a lot of ground this evening. So so feel free to ask away. Okay, so the 11th Feb, will it be streamed? Okay, so yes, we do two ways. It can be streamed, and it would so if you can get there live, great. If not, we also do offer the opportunity to stream it live as well. So but it's always good to get in the room. The reason why I say get in the room, you're going to be surrounded by other people on the same journey. More importantly, I want you to be working with people in the room so that you can negotiate and do deals with them, and that's where the real buzz comes from. We have, during lockdown, had to do these virtually, and you kind of lose that magic. Whereas when you're in the room, it's everyone fist pumping, high fiving, etc., and it really is a great atmosphere to be in. So if you can get childcare, go from there. Even if you can only attend the morning, I'd rather you do a morning live session than a full day stream session. And bear in mind that if you do stream it, it'll all be recorded anyway. So, even if you miss half traveling back and forth, you'll get a catch up on the recordings. So there we have it, guys. Let's have a quick look at how we're getting on. So we've gone through the Elite Property Tribe. You know what the Elite Property Tribe is all about and how to get involved. Now, I'll say that if you don't build your own dream, someone else will hire you to build theirs. And if you're working for someone right now, chances are that you're building their dream. Make this your opportunity to build yours. So yes, learn how to do it and go out and start doing it. And because that's exactly what Craig has done, he's now decided that he wants to do this for himself. Trish says, how long do you typically agree exclusivity for? Now, there's no science to that, Trish. You could agree exclusivity for a couple of days. You could agree exclusivity for a couple of weeks. All depends on the property, how long the agent's had it for, what their relationship is with the vendor, and how desperate they are to sell it. How often do you take intakes a year? Tanya says. So we only do it once in January for a February start, and we do one in May for a June start. So there are only 2 intakes a year. So if you've got any other questions, the one thing I'm going to say is feel free to reach out. So you've got my office number on screen there. So, and you've got my email address. If you've got any questions, feel free to call me and say, Arsh, okay, I'm thinking about joining the EPT. What else can you tell me? Or do you think this is right for me? I'm always open to having that conversation. I'm always open to having that conversation, and let's go from there. So I'm thinking, let me just have a look. Is this a lady called Sarah online? Because Sarah, no, she's not online. Okay, so I suppose that brings us to a kind of close. Okay, so Trish says, how long does it take for a deal to horsepower to, I'm assuming, appear on the app. So if you were to send me a deal, Trish, and it's got all the stuff that we need. So generally we need photos, floor plans, a good description of what the property is, you know, if it's tenanted. We've got a full, almost like a full criteria as to what we're after when you present a deal to us. And off the back of that, providing that you've sent us all that information, we can get the deal listed the same day. If not, definitely the next day, depending on when it's done. Okay, so on that note, guys, Tanya says, I look forward, I'll see you, yeah, I'll see you at some point this year. So on that note, guys, I wish you all to have a great evening. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. More importantly, hopefully you can see how efficient it, you know, how you can become a deal sourcer, but more importantly, how you can become pretty much like Craig. So, Craig, I want to thank you very much for your time. Hopefully, you've enjoyed the session as well, and you perhaps learned as well.
No problem at all, Arsh. Anytime. I've enjoyed it.
No, brilliant. And then, Craig, no doubt my team will speak to you tomorrow. And let's get if you've got 4 more deals this week, let's see if we can get 4 sold for you this week, and we'll go from there.
Yes, mate. Definitely. I've got quite a few deals I'm looking at, so I'll get them sent over, and I've got other stuff going through, so we'll definitely be speaking this week.
Fantastic. All right, guys. Well,
Brilliant.
on that note, I wish you all to be safe, well, and happy, and I look forward to speaking to you all soon. Take care. Bye-bye.